Hiya, I'm a Zamen, and Lapis from Fire Emblem Engage. She is my favorite girl from the entire female cast, while also being one of my favorite characters in the game alongside Alchrist and Alfred. Her initial introduction is a bit rocky and a bit anomalous when compared to her actual personality, but she really did grow on me as both a character and a unit. So without further ado, let's dive into her by first looking at her design. As you can see, she is a very cute knight, rocking the Brodia red, of which she is a proud citizen. Also, her cape is extremely sick, brandishing the Brodian iconography, and she's got this adorable headband and ribbon combo that are nice little details that clue the player into her humble origins. This humbleness is then further showcased and comboed with her casual wear, which I gotta say is one of the coziest looking fits across the entire Engage cast. I really like the little detail about the stitches on the dress because, come on, it shows that it's part of the fabric where she sewed it back on after sustaining some damage. It helped establish her as handy. Plus, she's also got this bag that's less of a purse and more like a general satchel. Needless to say, Mika Picasso absolutely cooked on this design. Plus, she's got pink hair, which according to most fiction is adorable. Ahem. Before I get on to Lapis's personality, background, and story presence, also relationships, we need to get this bear-shaped elephant thing out of the way. Unit performance. As a unit and member of the Divine Dragon's army, Lapis is solid. She starts off as a sword fighter with respectable stats, great strength for her arrival time, and an extremely good speed growth, with her speed growth being the second highest or highest in the game. I got conflicting results. And because she joins the Divine Dragon so early, she has a lot of wiggle room to grow and can function well in most physical classes. She's definitely a unit you can take with you into the endgame because she's perfect, amazing, and in no way prone to being completely outclassed by a later unit who joins and does her job but better. That definitely doesn't happen. And that character who in theory would be better than Lapis definitely doesn't have some of the sickest drip in the entire game. Ooh, so cool. Okay, let's talk about the Kagetsu conundrum. To not mince words, Lapis is a good, I'd even say great unit. But she gets overshadowed by a perfect unit. Kagetsu does everything Lapis does, but better and with less effort. Lapis is a perfectly usable unit, but she really doesn't shine unless you show her extreme favoritism, which is what I did, unsuccessfully, in my playthrough, where I messed up her build and kit twice. Though personally, I am a big fan of Hero Lapis. Her in the hero class is great because, well, backup/chain attacks in Engage are awesome. Also, she engages well with Erica and Ephraim along with Leaf. Even if Leaf isn't a great emblem, Lapis can carry him, I promise. Oh, and the Ring of the Three Houses. Wait, no, they're not rings, they're bracelets. The Bracelet of the Three Houses. She works well with them too. That now brings us to personality. In a single sentence, Lapis is kind, humble, and overly polite, though she is easy to overwhelm due to a lack of confidence she has and harbors quite a bit of insecurity due to her background. What's her background, I hear you not asking? Well, she's poor. She's the daughter of a farming family who lives out in the countryside of Brodia and feels insecure about this fact, fearing that she'll be ostracized for it. These two facts culminate in a kind of imposter syndrome that she suffers from because she's a royal knight, an occupation that is typically given to and populated by nobles of great renown and wealth. In fact, she's even a step above average royal knights because she's a retainer to Alchrist, the second prince of Brodia, a role that she doesn't feel like she fully belongs in or is fully qualified to fulfill. However, she did earn this role by coming in first place in a tournament, which shows one of her best traits, earnesty. Earlier I said that she was insecure about her background, and that's true, to the point where she goes to great efforts to hide her origins. But, well, she isn't particularly great at lying. Therefore, it's a fact that's easily discovered, especially when she says things like this.
Sure, it's not too hard. I had to make most things by hand back in the countryside.
Countryside?
I meant... can't decide. I can't decide, whether to make you a pack or not.
Oh, well...
That, and also all the weed eating. No, not that weed. This weed. The one that goats eat, because she's a survivalist and knows which ones are good and which ones aren't. Though, apparently, she does have a proper palate for them, if heroes is anything to go by. Ahem, being poor and coming from a rural town, Lapis naturally picked up quite a few survival skills. Foraging, trapping, crafting, and bear fighting. Yeah, specifically fighting bears. It comes up a lot, and she's good at it.
At the river mouth, the bears catch only the tastiest, most tender salmon. Which is exactly what we at John West want. John West endured the worst to bring you the best.
Really good, knowing the ins and outs of bears, how to best scare them off, how to outright wrestle them, and how to kill them and prepare them for food. What a perfect woman. On to the trapping thing, Lapis is incredibly talented at building traps and just building things in general. She can build devices and they are very complex. In her supports with ETA, she makes weight training equipment, but what I think is more impressive is seen in her supports with Fogado. There, she makes an advanced scarecrow defense system in order to help Fogado scare off some rogues that are terrorizing an oasis in Solm. It apparently looks like a Fogado dummy and was somehow explosive. While it failed to scare off the rogues, it did scare off the local wildlife, which in turn basically herded alligators and tigers towards those rogues, allowing them to be captured. So the task was accomplished successfully, and apparently Lapis has these automated scarecrows situated around her village to scare off bears. Also, if you need more evidence on why Lapis is great, she is canonical proof that luck is a skill, cause she's the best rock paper scissors player in the army, having canonically beaten the summoner Kieran in rock paper scissors. Yeah, that's a proper feat, we can power scale her now. I wanna say mountain tier. Definitely not Galaxy Buster. This is stupid. Plus, she eats weeds, like that guy, Dimitri. So if you like Dimitri, then you are legally obligated to love her as well. Now, prior I had brought up her support with Fogado, and besides Fogado, there's quite a few more supports I want to take a look at because they reveal depth and several aspects assigned to Lapis, which is also what I should have done for my Alir video. Also, quite a few of the supports are funny, so I'll be popping in some clips here and there. Starting us off, let's discuss her relationship with Citrine, her fellow retainer in Not Crime, because they are very similar in their work ethic and feelings of inadequacy despite their different backgrounds. For some context, while Lapis is a humble village girl, Citrine is a wealthy noble and also the niece to the Brodian king, so her position as retainer to her cousin Alchrist was basically guaranteed from the start. The support between these two revolves around the two constantly finding each other during the other's late night excursions. Citrine spends her late night squeezing in extra training while Lapis herself opens up care packages from home because she doesn't want anyone to find out about her background. But when Citrine does find out, this ensues.
I love packages from Mom and Dad. I wonder what this could possibly be. As if I don't already know. Ooh, they sent some really good ones this time. These look extra yummy. Mmm.
Lapis? What has you cooing and humming?
Ah! Citrine! You really scared me. Don't sneak up on people in the dark making such a scary face.
Should I have worn a mask? I doubt that would have been less frightening. This is just my face, Lapis. Don't be cruel.
Sorry, I didn't mean it. You just really startled me.
Oh, what tasty-looking yams. Did you have someone fetch these from the countryside?
No, I didn't.
It looks as if your parents sent them. Does your family own land near a potato farm? It was my understanding that your parents live in town. Is that not the case?
Okay. I'll tell you the truth, Citrine. My parents don't live anywhere near town.
Oh?
My parents, actually my whole family, lives in the countryside, where these taters came from.
Is that so? But you've always said that...
I lied. I shouldn't have, but I did. Please don't tell anyone else, okay?
I won't. Of course I won't, but... I'm confused. Why would you lie about such a thing?
I was trying to make myself seem less, you know, rural. I worry about that all the time. Prince Alchrist is royalty. You're part of his extended family. A bumpkin like me doesn't belong next to such noble company.
Lapis is not a good liar and very quickly gets overwhelmed. Though she's good-natured and doesn't dig herself into a hole, she admits that she doesn't feel like she belongs with her unimpressive lineage, a sentiment that is made much more explicit in her supports with the divine dragon Alir.
Oh, Lapis! I wanted to thank you for all of your support in our recent battles.
Oh, I didn't really do much out there. I was just following your lead. You don't have to thank me for that, Divine One. There were lots of other more skilled warriors in those battles. You should thank them instead.
Lapis, please. You're strong and you think fast. You should have confidence in your abilities.
Confidence? I don't know about that. I'm thrilled to be a retainer, but everyone else is much more qualified. I'm not even a noble. I wouldn't want to sound arrogant when I rank so far beneath everyone else.
Where at the end of their sea support, Alir remarks,
Lapis sounds so sure that she doesn't really belong here. There has to be some way to help her work past that mindset.
and working past this mindset is what she does in her support for Rosado, who, side note here, Rosado is a really good character. Like, I was blown away by how well he's written. I thought he was going to be one note, but no, he's great, and he was so good he got to be represented in Heroes. Back to Lapis. In her support for Rosado, they revolve around Rosado providing Lapis with positive support in order to build up her confidence. It's prompted when Rosado says that he's able to be confident by being proud of his upbringing and drawing out pride of his inner nature. But for the first two ranks, note the C and B support, Lapis can't really do that. However, by the time of the A supports end, Lapis is able to reach a conclusion, telling Rosado,
Really? How did you get so strong anyway? Is it all from your training?
No, it's because I fought off a lot of bears back in my hometown.
Bears? Well, I guess we can say your strength goes all the way back to where you came from.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Thank you, Rosado. Hearing you say all that, I'm feeling much more confident. One day I'll be able to say with pride, I am who I am because of my hometown. Maybe not anytime soon, but someday.
I think that's a wonderful goal.
I really like how in the support, her problem isn't just fixed. Instead, Lapis sets a goal for herself, a goal for what she wants from the future, which is decently realistic in my opinion. Now, I gotta talk about Alchrist. How can I not talk about Alchrist? When you mention Lapis, you need to talk about Alchrist. God, I love Alchrist, he's my son. Anyway, these two are a great duo. Both Alchrist and Lapis constantly downplay their own abilities and worthiness for the roles they fulfill. Alchrist sees himself as being unfit to be a prince but tries his best to fulfill that role. Meanwhile, Lapis is the same except replace prince with retainer. Although Alchrist is certainly worse off because he feels like his life is rather worthless and would gladly throw it away to protect his beloved retainers. Those being Citrine, who's his cousin and basically his sister, and Lapis, the girl who he's low-key crushing on. Which is quite backwards because retainers are supposed to be protecting their lords. Alchrist is Lapis's retainer. Also, Alchrist is an archer. And I am making a video on Lapis, not god tier character Alchrist. Ahem. So Lapis is pretty high-key crushing on Alchrist, which is evident in how Citrine is able to tease her on this fact.
Oh, I doubt it. I know you're enamored with him, but Alchrist isn't that clever.
What? I am not!
Goodness, you're blushing! Your cheeks are as red as the carpets in the royal court.
Lapis holds Alchrist in high regard. She admires his kindness and the courage he is able to show because despite everything Alchrist says about himself, He's very talented, and it breaks her heart to see him think so little of himself, because when Lapis has self-doubts, Alcryst is almost always there to pick her back up. She wants to do the same for him, but throughout their supports, Alcryst just doesn't let her. He doesn't let himself be picked up. Until they come to a mutual understanding by the end of the A support to protect each other. I'll go more in depth on their support when I make a video on Alcryst because, well, come on, I can't not, especially when my tier list looks like that. But what I can mention at this time is her story presence, which does include Alcryst. She shows up in the 7th chapter of Fire Emblem Engage after the Yunaka Papaya detour. The Divine Dragon and Alfred are venturing into Brodian territory where upon crossing the border, Alir is nearly sniped by a pinpoint arrow fired by Alcryst. Alcryst demands that the two intruders identify themselves while coldly drawing his bow. Meanwhile, his two retainers ready themselves for battle, Citrine readying a thunder spell while Lapis holds her blade at the ready. Alir identifies himself as the Divine Dragon, traveling with Alfred, the Crown Prince of Faraway, causing Alcryst to lower his bow and charge them.
I am so sorry! I threatened the Divine Dragon and the Crown Prince of Faraway. I'm begging, please find it in your hearts to forgive me!
The situation is then de-escalated and Alcryst agrees to join forces with Alir to lead them to Brodia's king. However, throughout the remainder of their interactions, Lapis is grumpy. Like Fern grumpy looking. It's never explained why and kind of feels a bit out of character, but I can do some extrapolating real quick. So across Engage's Brodian cast, it's pretty safe to assume that every Brodian is two-faced. For example, Yunaka puts on an overly cheery facade to mask the inner darkness that she's trying to walk away from. Diamant portrays himself as a noble, perfect, ideal prince, but he doesn't want to be a prince. Citrine, though appearing flippant, overconfident, and out of touch, is actually a very serious and mature person when the situation arises. Lapis also kinda falls into this mold. Here, upon meeting the Divine Dragon, she tries to mask herself as this proud, battle-hardy warrior who doesn't stand for her lord, Alcryst, being slighted. She fights for his honor and tries to defend it by taking a jab at Alir and Alfred, telling the two boys,
"Still, if your arrow hit the Divine One, Brodia's standing would have been seriously hurt. Be more careful next time, Prince Alcryst."
I will. I really am sorry.
You cannot be held liable, Alcryst. You had no way of knowing who they were. Was it not possible for your party to arrive in a more royal, more resplendent manner?
This is the Kingdom of Warriors. If you can't dodge one arrow, you're not worthy to enter. Here, the weak serve the strong. Maybe we should give you a little test.
What did you say?
In short, her and Alcryst are basically like that Pickles meme. And that just about concludes her story presence. She doesn't participate in any further story events and is just another unit in the Divine Dragon's army. Though in my game at least, she dealt the final blow to Sombron as part of Alir's ultimate Engage Blast. Oh, and the Fel Xenologue, she gets a shout out there too. If you don't know, Fel Xenologue, it's a parallel universe where basically every side character in the game is already dead, and it's just the royals and their siblings. It's very sad. But in the Xenologue, the ultimate Alcryst, to me at least, has more clear emotions towards Lapis, speaking very strongly about her and acting more downtrodden when he mentions her death. Like, he seems more emotional than when he mentions Citrine's death, or anyone else from Brodia's death. He also mentions that he wanted his version of Lapis to see him ascend the throne.
I can hardly believe I'm seeing you here. You must have appeared because you hate me. For saying I would protect you when I couldn't.
You're talking nonsense. I could never hate you. If the me of this world managed to keep you safe, then I'm sure she was satisfied. So please, don't be upset.
You're a hallucination. If I allow this to dull my wits, I'll only be playing into enemy hands. And yet... if only you could have seen me, Lapis. Ascended to the throne.
Which makes the shipper and me think that he wanted to make Lapis his queen, and that makes me sad. But that is more or less a wrap on Lapis. She's my favorite girl from Engage because I adore the earnesty she has most of all. There's a lot of charm about a person who gives their all despite the self-doubt they suffer from, which is why, in my game, she was my S support. And she had some stiff competition, mostly from Celine and Alfred. Alfred though was number 2 because like, yo, he made me consider the gay option, but like, no, I just like women more than I like Alfred. Shame. Where was I? Oh yeah! Lapis, in my game, she reigned with the Divine Dragon. Despite me being a fervent supporter of Lapis x Alcryst, I at the same time am also a supporter of Alcryst x Celine, because that is a top tier ship. And wow, okay, Alcryst has a lot of really good ships. Ivy, Fogado, Hortensia, Alir. God, I need to make a video about him soon. Or in like 8 months. So yeah, Lapis is great. So is Engage. I do very much hope you enjoyed this video, and I won't promise or tell you what my next upload is going to be, because the past 3 times I've done that, each video I promised has not met its deadline. So we'll just see what gets uploaded in 2 weeks, because there will be a video in 2 weeks. Anyway, I have been a Zamen, and thank you very much for watching this video. So consider sticking around if you don't hate my voice. My sole goal here is to improve my writing, editing, and speaking as I go on.